I want to talk about the process of how we chose which songs made the record, because of course there were plenty to choose from, and more as we went.
Yes, that's true.
Tell me about your process.
Well, you're going to have to help me remember.
Okay.
I know that the first 4 that we recorded were the covers.
Right.
Because those were the songs that I'd been working on stage for quite a while. And so those really had a definitive shape.
Mm-hmm.
And it would get the musicians going, because the musicians were mostly from my band,
Mm-hmm.
Stefan Oberhoff and John Lewis, Steve Wilkinson. Then the newer songs, they're new. They've never been realized before.
And we both knew that there would be new songs on this record. It was important to me to guide you and to encourage you to include as much new material as you wanted.
Exactly. But you know, part of what I recall was we would play the demo for everybody, and they would look at the charts, and then there was a lot of, as I recall, oh yeah, okay, I know what to do.
Right.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I let them.
Yeah,
right?
and this, you know, normally I'm, as an arranger, more, things are more thought out and written out. And we did write some things out, of course, including obviously the horn arrangement that with Lee Thornburg that we did. And with that, you and Lee and I sat in a room and talked about point of view, you know, and emotion and
well, because the horn, you know, the horn chart, as you remember that morning, you and Lee came up to the house, and I really wanted the horns to be a character in the song.
Right.
I really wanted them to create a visual. I really wanted them to capture in that Gershwin Tower of Power landscape of New York City and growing up there. And it was articulated so beautifully because it's about the syncopation and the spaces that help underscore the jaggedness of the experience of growing up in New York and finding your adventures in New York. It's very different than if you were growing up somewhere else.
Yes.
So.
But there was a beauty in not overwriting the arrangements. It allowed for this great collaboration between all of us. And I know that I had remembered you had spoken about the old ways of making records, where you get in a room with a bunch of great, beautifully talented and generous, open-hearted musicians, and you make music together. And you know, so that meant less on paper. Yeah,
exactly right. It was always just chord charts, because I didn't know how to write stuff out too much.
Right.
But apparently it was enough so people could follow it.
We didn't need to. We needed, here's the form, here's the chords, here's the story.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We did talk about the songs.
And the thing for me is always about the inner life. Do you capture the inner life of the world of the song? Because what I know to be true is you have to assume a person is going to hear a song once and then move on. So you've really got to nail down the impression you want to create of the words and the music and the world that the song creates that simply didn't exist before you wrote it. And so that was wonderful to achieve with such beautiful musicians, among them Lenny Castro, Abraham Boreal, and you know, but it's beautiful.
Well, speaking of creating a world, you were very specific when we did the duet with Al Jarreau, that after Al came in, then we decided we needed to create. We knew we wanted to, but we left it open with Al. We wanted to create an intro to the song that didn't already exist, to invite you into this sonic and emotional world.
Well, also the thing was that for all of the duets, the quote-unquote duets, these were not constructed as duets.
Right.
It was when people said, "Can I sing with you, please?" That I, you know, thinking about Al, and I had toured with him and knowing him for such a long time, and as I describe him as the world's largest elf, Big Light was his song to sing with me because of what he loves to sing about.
Right.
He's such an optimistic soul.
Yes.
And I wanted to gift him with that, and I don't know if you remember, but when we were done singing, we went into the studio and I hugged him and he hugged me back and he started weeping and thanked me. And Lord, we have the photos to prove it.
I know. It was so...
It's incredible.
So remarkable and memorable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm going to end with a question that I borrowed from James Lipton from the Actors Studio.
Okay.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would be really honored if God would say, thank you for doing such a nice job of being you.
Mm-hmm. Of being you. I like that. My good friend, Melissa Manchester.
Till you're awakened to a life where you're never alone. And there'll never be a moment when there's only shadows in the skies. You're guaranteed a sunrise. Wipe the tears from your eyes. It's gonna take a big light. You've got to get ready for a big light.
Turn it on, cause it's gonna take a
Big light. Turn this world around.
turn it around. Been addicted from
It's gonna take a big light from a great big soul you